Okay, well, it is August 15th, 2023, and I'll just start because nobody is here live yet, except for my husband and family. But just to keep things on track for myself, I'll just begin and say that it's very, very intense. I don't know how other people are feeling, but there's a lot going on with the sun. And as the ley lines are being cleared by the dragons, there's quite a bit of activity in the ley lines and through the ley lines. And so I know someone had already messaged me, Milena, that a lot of the autists, other parents were saying that their kids are being very dysregulated, and the intensity was very disruptive. So I know I heard that there were solar flares this weekend, but also then now with the sound ethers activated, and this is something different. And the quantum field now aligned to the seven higher heavens, our realm, and then the seven micro heavens, as we've been talking about in the past. It's literally like what's going through the ley lines feels like sound, sound tones from the quantum field, from dark matter, is what we call dark matter, is really access into the quantum field. And now we're accessing into a deeper level of the quantum field than ever. So I know yesterday morning I woke up and I just felt like my whole body was ringing, and there was a lot of deep things going on. So I'll be talking about that a little bit today in the slides, and also to be talking about some other things going on. I'll be talking about Odin and Odin's temple and the runes and how that relates to some genetic activations and things. And I just got these like a little while ago, a few months ago. I don't know if you can see them, but these are, because of the screen thing, these are called Norwegian Larkabites. So because of all this Norse mythology and Odin coming through, somebody had shared this in another group I'm in. She had just gotten some Norwegian Larkavite, and so I found some on Etsy, and it says they're from Norway. So I just had to get those, and they're quite beautiful. They kind of look like, let's see if I can get the camera in the right angle here. They're kind of have a labradorite quality to it, but it's more like quartz crystals in it, and you can see some blue. So they're really quite beautiful. Anyway, and some of the other things that are going on today, it's not in the slides, but what I was experiencing, and some information from Samantha today. Well, one of the things that was interesting was in another group, there were people posting about the Maui fires, and if some of you have been following some of that, like on Instagram and other social media, and how bizarre it is that Maui would be on fire when it's such a humid state. So there were, all kinds of kind of strange, illogical kinds of explanations for some of those things. But, one of them that I was watching, they were talking about, this guy got some post from Twitter, and he had posted some things about the burning down of Maui, the power lines and everything. And he found some document, or people found documents that are indicating um, that they're going to they want to turn Maui into one of those 15-minute cities kind of thing, the whole island. So they want to try it there. I don't know. I didn't verify if that was true or not, but it is suspicious. But anyway, as I was watching this and looking at some of this information, all of a sudden, my bones just started to activate, and like there was tones just coming from my bone structure, and it was just starting to emanate out. And the words coming from it was we are soul. um so it felt like as we embody uh the soul in a different way, and are the sound ethers are activating. And so our bodies, we've been working with the star icosahedron from Sam, which is the dark matter soul body, and also the sound body, like a light body, but it's a sound body. And so with what's happening, we're embodying at a different level. And it felt like there's more people embody, and especially a certain population of, I don't know, star seeds and maybe the indigo races. We're going to be joining kind of around the planet. Um, and I don't think it's all the light workers or all the star seeds, but maybe certain groups uh, of us. But then we'll be able to kind of join and emanating out these sound tones from literally our bone structure. And because it just felt like we're not going to let this happen, was the feeling um, that I had from this emanation going out. And I got the feeling that it'll only take um, several, tens of thousands. I don't know exactly how many that means, but several tens of thousands uh, to do this, to kind of emanate out these sound tones, and uh, I don't know, disrupt, the agenda. And again, it's also new now. It's hard to know how this is going to play out, but uh, it was just an interesting moment, because I didn't, the human part of me didn't plan it. It just happened. And I think that's the way a lot of some of these things are going to happen, is the human doesn't have to be aware of it, in a sense. But with embodiment now at this whole new level, it's going to, I don't know, ripple out somehow around the planet. And how long it takes, I don't know. I think we're just getting, well, last year was really kind of a start, 2022, the beginning of manifestation, with all the templates and codes and information that's been transmitted all along. So it's starting to take place now. The other interesting that happened, Sam and I were um, working with the 48 states of the continent, of the landmass of the US. Um, and I think not the other 48 states for now, but it was like just the 48 states that are in this North American uh, uh, conglomerate, let's say, um, for now. But the sense that I got was just to get it coherent and not expend my energy trying to encompass Hawaii and Alaska right now. But the 48 states, we were, so I just started toning I just saw the number 48 and I just started toning. Could feel that something was happening with the 48 states in particular. And then a ring appeared over the 48 states, the landmass. It was like a golden ring, and I could tell that it was 10-dimensional. And, our soul star is at the 10th dimension. It's, people that are using chakras, and a lot of people on the planet still are, the 10th chakra, it would be the soul stars. That's the one that's about 6 to 8 inches above the head. And so it felt like this ring was bringing coherence to that collective soul star, so to speak. And the it can transmit information, obviously. So for people who can feel the message, or just maybe are just beginning to wake up, So it was an interesting moment. And so Samantha said it would take about 6 weeks for this ring to activate. I was wondering about, the other, rest of the world. And I saw that there were going to be other rings above other nations and things. And, I think we are going to encompass, looks like Canada. And then there's going to be another ring for Canada. And then we are going to kind of bring in Alaska and Hawaii for the US in particular. But so it looks like around the fall equinox is when this is going to activate, and when these other golden rings around the other parts of the country are going to activate, I don't know right now and how that's going to happen. I'm not sure. But the other piece of it is that the ecliptic, the equinoxes, the seasons are marked by the ecliptic. It's like a big ring, and it's kind of slanted, goes at a diagonal because the earth is also tilted. And that ecliptic is where the 13 zodiac signs rotate across. I mean, I don't know where it's along that ecliptic. And so the fall equinox, the equinoxes are marked when that ecliptic is touching the equator of the earth. And it has to do with how the sun then also hits the has to do with how the that ecliptic point is activated. And so along with that, then Samantha's saying that the 13 zodiacs are going to activate, system is going to be activated with this fall equinox. And how that plays out, for people, it's yet to see whether people will be aware of it or not. But, definitely the feeling is in the next 3 to 5 years, more people are going to be switching over to the 13 zodiac sign system. And what else was interesting about that? So if you haven't activated your 13 zodiac birth sign, there was a audio meditation that we put in Patreon about a year ago, I think. And I'll see if I can kind of post that again so that it comes up if people haven't done it or want to know what we did. And I'll probably update that because I think there's more of a more powerful activation that's available now. But that's for people, I think, switching over. That's a good one to start with to get kind of used to that system. If it feels right to do that at this time. So, a lot of people have been talking about the changes in our perception of time and how we experience time. And so this seems to all go along with that of, our changes in perception of time. And some of you, watching this in our group know that we are on a we're on a 12-month system, but the moon cycles, every 28 days would actually be 13 months. And the Gregorian calendar is, then even the names of the months are not in the right order. So like, I know I watched a video a while back, and some of you have probably seen it as well. Or there's a few videos out there, I think, people talking about that. But like, we're in August, and October should be the name of the month of the 8th month, because oct means 8. And like September, sept, should really be the 7th month, July, because sept means 7. And December, dec, means 10. And so that should really be the 10th month. And I can't remember what the other months are supposed to be named as, but, we might be going back to that kind of system. And again, I don't know how long this will take, but I think more people are feeling like, what month is this? It doesn't feel like the month that they're say it is, like August, it's like, doesn't feel like August. What does that really mean? So things not really aligned. And so, we'll be kind of starting to switch over to the correct system, which would be more natural to our bodies as well. And so again, not really knowing how this will play out. But anyway, that's kind of a quick update of what just happened in like today. uh, there's always something going on at our house, and it should be interesting to see how all of this plays out going forward. So anyway, so I'll just get into the slides and what our intention is today, just so I can keep moving with this process. So, okay, so the topics for today that, other things that I'll be talking about. The radical quantum changes that's begun. And some of you may remember me talking about the Mandelbrot fractal in the past. And so I'll be sharing some slides that I used before to talk about what this means, and how things are changing and how physical matter is breaking down. So again, with the Earth dragons really active now, and their breath, as they breathe, that dragon breath from source, from the formlessness and oneness of source, that breathing is creating lots of changes to the quantum field and the ley lines. And leading up to the 9/9 in September, it feels like there's going to be a rise in consciousness of the plants and animal kingdom as well. What will that look like and what will that feel like? I don't know. But then also that collective sense of collective consciousness of humanity as a planet with all of these other sentient beings on the planet is going to be enhanced, become more powerful, so to speak. So, and more, as the line's clear, also undistorted information is surfacing. The dark matter solar body, which I'll show an image again, from that was between Jupiter and Saturn, is seems to be the sound tones coming from there is what's stimulating our sun with those sounds. And so I'll also be talking about the correction and healing of the aggressive masculine through the Odin legends and the runes. And we're gonna, and those runes are like sound tones and seems to be activating like the certain seventh, eighth, and ninth dimensional genes from that European area. So the focus of these genes in particular is related to the collective consciousness of the planet. And that seems to be why those specific genes are being focused on. So meditation, the intention is going to be to activate the seventh, eighth, and ninth DNA genes through the harmonics and bring them to neutral balance. So these specific harmonic strings, 70 is it's 1, 2, 4, and 8, meaning in the subharmonic bands. I'll talk about that a little bit more. The others will activate going forward through sound tones and ley line clearings. We'll clear out the interference patterns to translate into the body and harmonize all physical body systems in wholeness, harmonize with the light body and our sound body. So if you might remember some of these images, the mother's dark matter emerald sun. And again, this dark matter emerald sun is really active now, it feels like. And again, in that dark matter realm, these are the sound tones now really coming through. It looks like from the 48th dimension. And then father's black matter, right? Father's the black matter solar Rishik sun, which I talked about a few months ago. And so between these two sons now of mother and father, and everything that has transpired with bringing these quote 3 heavens together from the 777 earlier this year, it's really amplifying the transmissions and really also activating all the codes. I can't think of a better word, codes, templates that we've been receiving for the last several years. So again, it's like things have been transmitted, kind of laid a foundation behind the foundation so that as things fall, the old systems fall, literally simultaneously, it's like we can create the new. And so I think that's a good reminder when we're seeing the insanity that's going on in the world. We're just seeing what's really been there all along and now coming to the surface to be seen, and lots of desperate acts of desperation and to hold on to what has been known. So an important reminder to keep in the back of our minds that it's all sort of laid out for us. The foundations, the new foundations are already here. So Mandelbrot fractal dissolution, Sammy had shown me this, I guess in 2021, this says. And so this would be the Mandelbrot fractal, so to speak. So those are the mathematical laws, codes, that would be of what organizes the very small. So it's those mathematic, sort of what we call equations are, actually the unifying or the organizing force behind the uh, the manifestation, right? Because otherwise, the quantum field, all that, quarks, bits, whatever you want to call it, they're all they would all just be, they exist, but then how is that organized to come into manifestation? And so we have macro, like the very world of the very big, and then the very small, the nano, or smaller than the nano, really, of these bits, substances, particles. I mean, whatever, whatever the appropriate word is to call them. Uh, so these fractal codes or mathematics that's been organizing the world as we've known it, is fading, and then the new mothers, that would be mother's fractal laws. And so mother's fractal laws is then also, I shared this a few months ago, being activated by father's infinite calculus. So again, the mother and father coming together to then ignite and become, build something new, is the idea of it. And this part is just getting started. And Sammy's saying something now. The world, uh, as we've known it, is has the potential to change rapidly, and with grace, but it requires us to become a collective consciousness as a planet, as a humanity, in order to, feels like, guide from our hearts, from our souls, uh, is more awakened, and we learn to work together, whether that be in human form, which is one, but also then in the eighth dimension, where we can really begin acting like a collective consciousness, and that affects the physical matter, and manifestation. So it should be interesting going forward. These are one of the cube codes. I don't think I shared this one. There was a lot of them that Sammy, she just showed me a whole block of these cubes sometime last spring, and I've drawn many of them, but I don't think I've drawn all of them, and I haven't shared all of them because I'm sharing them as they become appropriate to share. So this is one of the, and again, the cube codes has to do with the, what do you call it? It's the hypercube, the tesseract, the you know it's the meta, kind of at the meta level, so to speak, and that happened with um, the awareness and the activation of the 16th, 17th, and 18th dimensions in our perceptual awareness, so to speak. I mean, we can say it's always been there, but again, but to have access points now from the physical perspective, that's what's really different to me. And so this, even the quantum field changes that's happening, it's affecting our metals, because all matter of atoms, of subatomic particles, these are all made, come together from the quantum field. And so the sound tones that are coming through now are also altering the metals. And I want to say there's some of them are becoming, let's say, more neutral. If they were, radioactive, maybe they won't become, will no longer be radioactive. I don't know, but that's what I kind of want to say. And how long will that take? I don't know. Um, it could certainly change the science of nuclear reactors. I don't know. There's all these different kind of thoughts are kind of coming into my mind, and awareness. But the other thing is that these metals are also vibrating because of the sound tones coming, um, uh, from the sun, and it's that ringing feeling that some may be having, and some of the autists might be having. They might be hearing really high-pitched sounds and tones from some of these metals in the earth as they're really ringing. I feel it, in my body. Our bones are crystalline. And so there are some cubes for the crystals as well. So anyway, so this is part of what's happening, and why some of you might be feeling like you're ringing, and it's causing deep cellular kind of shakeups in a sense, vibrating. And the positive thing about that is it feels like it's going to be easier to detox, metals in our body, heavy metals and things that's in our bodies and stuff. Because that vibration, it's almost like it's shaking things loose, so to speak. And so it should be an interesting process as we go forward. So the dark matter solar body, I shared this, this is 2022, so I shared this, I think last fall or late, maybe November or December. And so this was a dark matter, I just call it a dark matter solar body that was placed between Saturn and Jupiter. And the it emanates out sound tones. So, and again, this is a process that was kind of underway months before even. And so the sound tones from this is what's triggering the sun. The sun is not just like our physical matter. It's not just light as well, but also has sound to it, because the sound comes before the light, as people, some of the esoteric teachers have recognized. And so the sun is also now emanating from its solar flares. It's also emanating sound. So even though there's an agenda to block out the sunlight, which sounds like a crazy thing, it's like it's not going to stop these other forms of emanations that are emitted from the sun. So anyway, this is a Jupiter cube, cube for the planet Jupiter that I drew last year to help, because Jupiter and its moons, 4 largest moons, seem to be the ones that are really working with this dark matter solar body, and Saturn is also kind of helping to stabilize it. So by stabilizing Jupiter, and then I also had a cube for Saturn. So anyway, these are helping to stabilize what's happening now, and hopefully it will start to kind of become more of an even tone from this dark matter solar body, and not feel so like, feels like it just really started to emanate a few days ago, the sound tones. And so right now it feels like it's really intense because of that, or at least for some people anyway. But anyway, if your autist is or some of them are having on the planet are having trouble, and they seem dysregulated, this could be one of the reasons why. And I don't know when that's going to stop, because this is a new thing in a sense, and uh, uh, it's a new thing, and I don't know. I think part of it is we're going to have to learn to adapt to this, and we will adapt to it. But um, it'll be a process, I think. This quantum dissolution, I didn't know what else to call it. So uh, this hexagon shape is um, uh, is making coherent, let's say, kind of stabilizing these quantum pulses that seems to be happening. And it is affecting us at cellular levels, at genetic levels, um, because again, it's molecules and atoms that make up our genetics in a sense, and um, uh, the structures that organize the cells. So even our physical bodies, it's all being impacted now by this quantum field, like at a very tiny scale. It's like we have pores now that are smaller than nano size, and calling it smaller, bigger, I mean, nano size, I mean, that's a kind of a 3D concept, because, at that level, it's like it doesn't even exist really, it's more like not even vapor, but like void, it's like void spaces that we're going into. And so this represents, kind of looks like a beehive, but imagine this smaller and smaller on smaller and smaller scales, and that our cells can also be breathing into this quantum field. So not just the cells, but imagine the brain, your brain cells and the brain now um, breathing into the quantum field, and the source field that goes beyond what we've ever, could have imagined. And so there's like a washing process that's going on, so that's what's happening at that level. And I'm sure in the meditation, when we do what we do, is this will be also active in this in the meditation that we do. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about runes, and I'm not an expert about runes. I've kind of heard of it. I was always attracted to, He-Man, if you remember, Thor. I watched all the Marvel movies, with Thor and Odin and Loki and all those. And those are Hollywoodized movies. And so I started feeling runes activating over the last few weeks. And my husband is kind of European mutt. And so, I was noticing lots coming through him. And at first I thought it was just for, my kids and my family, for us, in a sense. But as then I noticed that, what's happening in Europe, and it going on around the planet with the clearing of ley lines, the, let's say, undistorted information, starting to arise. If you think of there's overlays on the energetic information in the planet and things like that, then it's really interesting that these runes are starting to come up now. So this is just a little bit from one website that I, found last night. I mean, I've looked at a few different websites. I haven't studied it closely, even though it's been coming up for a few weeks, because, honestly, I'm kind of focused on economics right now, and learning about our financial systems and things. Not so much the spiritual side, although I mean, I can't escape it because, we're always in that energy and things. But I purchased this rune set. It's on Amazon, and these are actually written on pyrite. The rune symbols are written on pyrite, and they have a few others. So I got a couple of them. So this is my rune set on pyrite. Where's my camera? Yeah, it's in a little pouch. It's hard to see, but this is one of them. There we go. And then I also got one on, I was guided to get one on agate. This is black agate. So I got two sets. For now, they have one on called Dragon Bloodstone, but they were all out of them. They're out of stock right now. But I think I have to get that one because they're called Dragon Bloodstones. So anyway, the word rune simply means a mystery, a whisper, or secret. And it's a form of divination or oracle reading system that's used to help gain insight into situations or questions. So it was interesting because one of the first symbols that I saw was this one. And what's the name of that one? I just started seeing it, like a downloading. It's called Aikis. If I'm saying it right. And it was for Sam. And then when I looked it up on another website, it said it helps. It helps embody the higher aspect of the soul, or the higher self. So I was like, wow, that's, embodying in the body. That's really cool. But anyway, so that's one of the things that happened. So runes can be made of various metals, but are most commonly made of stone and a feature symbol from the runic alphabet on them. And that's one thing that I learned from another friend, is that they tended to be written on stone. And so she recommended not getting the runes on cards, like oracle cards, but if you can find them on stone, like this one, or you can find your own stones and write on them yourself. So there's a couple of different ways to do it. And I learned that there's always one that's blank because it's for Odin's symbol. It's blank, but I mean, I guess it's infinite. Anyway, so they can be used like oracle cards. You can pull one out and then look up the meaning of it. And I pulled one yesterday and it was pretty accurate. I was like, wow, that's great. Okay, runes are an ancient form of oracle used by those seeking advice. Runes have a long history dating back to ancient use by Germanic and Nordic tribes and are still widely used in today's society. Anyone can have a rune reading, but it's also fun to be able to learn how to use them yourself. So the origin of runes, the runes stem from an ancient form of Germanic alphabet, which was used by the Germanic and Nordic tribes of Northern Europe, Scandinavia, and Britain for writing, divination, and magical purposes. Runic inscriptions have been found on stones, jewelry, weapons, and objects dating back to the 3rd century AD, but it's likely that they existed long before that. So anyways, for today's session, I'm not an expert in runes, but I could tell that what's happening is they're like singing because of the clearing of ley lines in Europe. So they seem to be related. They are related to the seventh, eighth, and ninth dimensional genetics, or DNA, some might call it. And so the Hyperboreans are seventh, eighth, ninth dimensional, right? They were first seated in that third harmonic universe. And then so the Tarans are the seated into the second harmonic universe, the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensions. And then, we became more dense and became a third dimensional human in the first harmonic universe. That's the densest that you can be, where matter is vibrating, kind of at the slowest. So anyway, it seems to be Hyperborean. So I was asking Sam, but with the legend of Odin, there seems to be also this, right? Because Odin, the mythology of Odin is about the 9 realms, which to me sounds like the 9 dimensions. And in that 9th dimension is the Asgard and these particular humans from Asgard. So there's what I felt when I was putting the slides together was, so are they Hyperborean? And Sammy was saying kind of, but the first Hyperboreans, the very first, they had this incredible awareness of the galaxy, and they were intuitively working galactically, as well. So there's a different kind of feeling about that. So the Hyperboreans, so when you look at the mythology of the Norse and Odin, there's talk about the golden age. So let me see if I can find it. I got this book my friend recommended. It's called it's just called The Runes by Horik Svensson, and that's one of the first things it talks about. All the runes are embedded in Norse mythology, so to understand them, it's important to have at least a legend has it that generations after the demise of Asgard, home of the Norse gods, right? The demise of Asgard, meaning at the eighth, at the ninth dimension, what it feels like the first sort of beingness of these types of Hyperboreans. Men went in search of the knowledge that had been lost from the golden age. So this is what the runes are from. After much toil, they eventually found the goddess Saga slumped on her throne in a dreamlike state. She was awoken by the questioning of the men and at last replied, "Are ye come at last to seek intelligence on the wisdom and deeds of your ancestors? I have written on these scrolls all that the people of that distant land thought and believed, and that which they held to be eternal truth. Ye will find much wisdom hidden therein when ye can read the writing and understand the meaning of the pictures. The pictures to which the goddess Saga is referring are clearly runes. So those are the runes. They're referring to the lost wisdom of the golden age before the fall of Asgard. And so, we saw our blog about Odin and the runes. I talked a little bit about that this is related to or has a significant, it has significance because it feels like after the fall of Asgard, or the fall of Asgard happened, I don't know, because that it was almost like a separation of this masculine, feminine. And so then when you kind of can separate somehow, I'm not sure exactly how, but when you can separate that masculine from the mother aspect in a way, or at the beginning of it, then you can distort the masculine to become aggressive. And so it seems to be significant in the development, or the rise of this aggressive masculine aspect. So to bring this back now, these sound tones, where the mother goddess and the father god are kind of really operating in oneness again, and we have genes that we're actually supposed to facilitate that. Then we can come back into this state of oneness, and there seems to be this focus on these particular genes or DNA from the seventh, eighth, and ninth dimensions, because genetically we are supposed to be connected to all 12 dimensions physically. Like, we have genes that physically are part of all 12 dimensions, as a physical avatar human. The first to the ninth dimension being the most physical. And so by weaving that back in, by activating those in our original genetic makeup, then there's this inner knowledge, inner knowing of who we are that is coming back, which relates to those 12 galactic sun laws, that we did in 2018. Those 12 dimensional laws have to do with these physical laws that are embedded in those dimensions, so that the physical human, those laws are literally embedded in us. You can hear Sammy all excited now. So the first dimension is the law of structure, that we have a structure for a reason, and the universe or the cosmos is organized in a certain way. And at the same time, then our physical body, our skeletal makeup, is the law of structure, and it holds our structure together. So even the bones are also, physical, but cosmic. It has a cosmic aspect as well. So anyway, so the runes are toning sounds that corrects this aggressive masculine DNA genetics. So Odin's temple. Okay, so Odin's temple, which in our meditation we're going to be working in today. When I got my set of runes, there it is. I was holding them in my hands to energize them. And so I had them in my hands, and I was closing them. And then I was like, whoop, I'm in Odin's temple. And I could kind of see this landscape around me, with the mountains and the water and things. And so that's what I drew from that. And so the runes being activated again in Odin's temple, and the heavenly waters. Wow, just seeing it's birthing them again. And so this is, if you look up Odin's shield, there's many different styles, but this one stood out to me. So I did redraw this, so it's not like a copy, but I drew it, and then it's activating to correct that aggressive masculine. So what happens when the aggressive masculine is, let's say, corrected, right? Um, so this is portraying the old, sort of like the leaves falling, the old kind of falling, and simultaneously, then the new life is born. And this is in balance with the masculine and feminine aspect. I know my husband said this looks like the Star Wars X-Wing fighter, one of those. And it does kind of look like that. It does have that look. But this is related to the four directions, north, south, east, west, particularly coming into balance, and always in the verticals, the horizontals, and the diagonals. So it's all, I mean, that's what that represents. And so then the will center, I think we've traditionally thought of the will center as being our solar plexus. So now this changes the will center to the lower dantian. And so the will center implying like how we exert ourselves in the world, how we express ourselves, how we move in the world, and in particular how we quote exert ourselves. So the aggressive masculine, you want to be, there's more of this push, wanting to force in a way your way through. You have to take your stand. You have to exert yourself in the world. You have to show them who you are. Those kinds of things. And so this correction of the masculine, then uh, it's about being in that state of non-duality, in a sense where not really like trying to balance the two opposites, but it's just a state of beingness, which is the Christ Sophia, the mother, the father that came together, so to speak, right? The birth, the third principle, the Christos Sophia, and that's the balance of the two forces, which really are one. They operate as one. That the polarities are really one. The electric and the magnetic, the dark and the light, those kinds of things. When we're operating in polarity and this aggressive masculine, we're always trying to teeter-totter between the two, trying to hold balance, and it takes work to do that. As we birth ourselves as the Christos Sophia, we are literally balanced. It's a neutrality, non-duality, and again, not in a sort of dead sense that neutral means, oh, you have no emotions and you just have to be kind of flat, but it's soul embodiment, spirit embodiment, and in this will center at the lower dantian, it represents that. It represents now this neutrality of the polarities, the non-dual state of beingness, of true discernment from that non-dualistic state, because there's a calmness to your inner being in that state to be able to discern correctly, so to speak, and so, and that's the other thing about this ecliptic, with the equinoxes, there was that ring, and I wrote a blog about it, I don't know how long ago, that there's this ring of non-duality that along that equator, and I think it was one of our autists, Lucy, who showed me that, and that every time we come to the spring and the fall equinox, it's the sun is igniting that ring of non-duality. And so that's the other thing that's going to happen, this coming fall equinox. So anyway, so how we express ourselves then changes in a way as well. So the other aspect that we're going to work with in this meditation is weaving love into our bodies, and we kind of been doing that before. So if you might remember that this is the red rose of love descending through the four harmonic universes. So this is the four, this would represent the four harmonic universes. And this is Omni Love, represents Omni Love, just weaving interdimensionally through our physical bodies. So we're going to be working with those today. So, okay, everybody just take a deep breath wherever you are currently, and however you might be feeling. Let's take a deep breath. Bye, everybody.